Well, hi there. Glad you're still with us here on Colorado and Company. I'm Denise Plant. February 14th is also known as National Donor Day. Show your love to others by helping people suffering from disease, injury, trauma, or blindness. Joining us this morning, Andrea Smith from Donor Alliance that facilitates organ and tissue donation in Colorado and Wyoming. Also with us to share her story, Kelly Lang. She's the mother of a donor. Nice to have you both on the show.
Thank you. Happy Valentine's Day.
You too. And let's start with you, Andrea. How was National Donor Day actually started?
National Donor Day was started by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, really to remind everybody of the life-saving gift of organ, eye, and tissue donation and raise awareness for the cause. And we like to use this time to remind everybody to talk to their family about organ and tissue donation.
Why is that so important?
Gosh, it's so important because it will make things easier on your loved ones at the most difficult time in their life probably ever. So you want to make sure they know your decision on donation and are aware it will help them.
There's a life-saving transplant list. How many people are waiting on it?
More than 120,000 people nationally across the United States, and 2,500 of those, just over that, are right here in Colorado.
Wow. How do you compile the list? Where do you?
So the list is compiled by an organization called the United Network for Organ Sharing, and that's a division of the Department of Health and Human Services. And so really they manage that list. In order for someone to get listed for transplant or join that National Organ Transplant waiting list, they would need to do that through a transplant center. So they would have to be evaluated for medical suitability and transplant as a treatment for their disease or illness, and then they would be referred to the list.
You can find out more on this friendly website. Go to donatelifecolorado.org. That's donatelifecolorado.org. Kelly, share your story. I understand your daughter is a donor.
My daughter Perry was a fun-loving, super vivacious, lively, and by lively I mean she loved life. 20-year-old. She was involved in a single car accident 3 doors from our house on her way home and sustained injuries that required surgery, emergent surgery, and during surgery she suffered an anoxic brain injury and never woke up. So then we started the work of you know, seeing to the end of her life, which was very, very difficult. But Perry was a registered organ, eye, and tissue donor, so that decision was very easy for us. When so much was going wrong, that one piece was going very right. Yes.
So you actually had the discussion ahead of time before anything ever happened?
We did. When Perry went to get her very first driver's license at the age of 16, the question came, would you like to be an organ donor? And she wondered what that even meant. So we had a small conversation about it, which continued later, but at the time, she said yes to organ, eye, and tissue donation, so that was all settled. She was already in the database.
Was there anything specifically she wanted to donate?
Anything and everything that she would no longer need.
You know, when you said that she's just full of life and she had a wonderful spirit, didn't I say that before we even got on? I was like, wow, I just love your personality.
Yeah,
like it gave me goosebumps. And knowing everything that you've been through in life and losing your daughter, you're just so full of love and just happiness. So thank you for sharing your story.
Yes,
I really do appreciate it.
Helping me do that.
How important is it for families to sit down, kind of like Kelly did with her daughter, and have this discussion ahead of time in case a tragic accident like that happens?
It's so important because it makes things easier for your family. You want them to know your decision, your feelings on really any end of life issue, certainly organ and tissue donation, so that it's easier for them. And that's what we hear so often from donor families is, you know, having that discussion ahead of time, knowing they were a registered donor, made it easier for me at the very worst time of my life.
Right.
So true.
Can anybody become a donor, or do you have to pass certain requirements?
Anybody is eligible to register as an organ and tissue donor, so regardless of age or health. A lot of people sort of medically rule themselves out or think, oh, well, I'm too old to be a donor. That's the #1 question that we get. But anyone, we've had organ donors into their 80s here in Colorado. We had a tissue donor last year as old as 105 years old.
Wow.
So really there are no strict eligibility requirements for organ donation. What you want to do is, if it's something you believe in and you want to help others, join the donor registry by saying yes at the driver's license office, and then let the medical professionals decide at that time whether or not you're medically eligible to donate.
What is a living donation?
A great question. So living donation is another important and life-saving gift, and a way you can give the gift of life. It's really important for Coloradans to understand that that's very different, and the living donation does not pertain to the donor registry. So when you sign up to be a donor at the driver's license office, it doesn't pertain to living donation. However, if people are interested in learning more about becoming a living donor, they can contact their local transplant center, and it is another way to give the gift of life right now.
Sure
while you're still alive.
And have you ever wanted, or have you met any of the people that Perry's saved their life, the donations went to?
Yes, we have. Actually, we heard from 3 of them, the liver recipient and both kidney recipients. I also got a great letter from a tissue recipient, which is very uncommon. But I have met the recipient of the right kidney and the liver recipient. And
wow, she's like an angel.
Yeah, such a hero,
she saved so
right?
many
I
lives.
know.
Thank you again for
Yes.
coming today. You can visit donatelifecolorado.org if you'd like to learn more. Sign up, become a donor. That website also offers other facts and questions, along with resources, links, and stories of hope. And don't forget, if you're at the driver's license office, just mark yes. Before we continue